Hello and welcome to the third episode in my Tricky Truck Let's Play video saga thing. This time I am going to be showing you footage, it's not live, obviously, of me creating a level. I may have mentioned it in a past video, but this is going to be about like 25 minutes of footage of me making a level and talking about stuff. So basically, this level is a recreation of a track from a game called Motorstorm Apocalypse, and I'm just gonna say it right now, I don't like that game. I felt like they messed with the mechanics too much, and they made the cars feel really light and just ping pong ball-esque in weight, and it just felt really off playing it like that. I feel like they should have left the driving mechanics the way they were in Pacific Rift. They felt like you were trying to tame 2 tons of steel, and I liked that about it. You get really high speeds, and it felt like you were driving on these areas that you were not supposed to be in. I felt like that was cool. In this one, it was a bit too cinematic, and it was a bit too just aware of what it was trying to do, and not like Pacific Rift, which was just trying to be there because it wasn't trying to directly advertise much. It was just there, and I liked that. But one thing I do like about Motorstorm Apocalypse is some of the track designs. Most of them are not great. They don't flow very well. They're kind of boring. Like that skyline level, even though it is a really cool idea to have like jumping through buildings and stuff, the track is basically a giant square. But what I'm making now is a remake of the track called Good Herb, which is based on a giant double-decker bridge, and basically the entire track is 2 levels of that bridge, and you can jump between them a lot. And it's sort of like a vertical figure 8, and I really liked that, and I wanted to make something, so I chose to make that. And I actually have a sort of a funny story about Motorstorm Apocalypse. I don't care if you believe me or not, I know it happened, so whatever. A while ago, like in 2010, before the game came out, before I even knew it existed, or I think before anyone knew it existed, before they announced it, I sent like a letter to the company that made it, Evolution Studios, like an email, and I could swear I saved it, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and I was really pissed off about that because of what happened after. Basically, I said it was very long-winded, but I suggested a bunch of stuff, like this. I said like, oh, you should try and set it in like a broken city environment and call it like Motorstorm Apocalypse, and have like a part where you jump through buildings, and another part where you have to go through like a nuclear power plant, and the acid makes your car more volatile and stuff like that. I never got a response back, but when I heard the game announced, and I felt like, I wrote that. I was so happy. I thought like that they must, like, even if I wasn't the only one to say it, it was something that I asked them to do that just appeared. It came to be, and I was sort of overwhelmed by that. Like, I know I'm not the creator of that, but like, just to have something like where something you wanted to exist and you asked them that, and then it exists, it was awesome. I felt really cool about it, and I don't know. And then the game comes out, and then it's like, oh, you almost had it. It was so cool. Like, you had the city environment. You could do a lot of stuff with it. And then they also added like, oh, we're not having a soundtrack that we've assembled from other artists that, like, because the soundtracks in the first and second games were great. I liked them a lot. A lot of the music fit. It sounded nice. And a nice mix of rock and electronic. And so did the second game. And so when you hear the music in Apocalypse, it's all cinematic, and it's like they got one composer to make all of it, and then half of it's like dubstep, and it's like, why? It sounds gross. And it's slow as shit. Why would you put slow music in a racing game? You're supposed to put stuff that gets you pumping, makes you want to go faster. And yeah, that was really disappointing. And then the story shit that they put in that they should not have even gone into at all, with the shitty fake cutscenes and all that shit. Yeah, it was just really disappointing. But the track, I do like that one track, and so I'm trying to recreate that in Tricky Truck. I did get a bit lazy with it. I didn't put too much theming on it. It was more just like the bass, the functional stuff, the stuff you interact with. I just put that in there. It's not like the Monaco track where I spent like 90% of the time making buildings and there's little racing lines on the side and just putting those in. Yeah, but I don't know. I sort of enjoyed making this track, map, whatever, level, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I'm trying to think of other stuff to talk about. This was interesting to make because it brought up a few gameplay, creative challenges, as you might say. I had to change a bit from the normal track, not just due to laziness, but also it doesn't always work. Like, I can't make it that detailed, so I had to change stuff, and I also had to change... Like, you can't make maps that are too huge and have too much in them, because it just sort of breaks the editor, in that it just stops rendering half the objects, and you can't see half the level until you go right up to all the objects. It kind of makes it difficult, so I had to make levels that are smaller, but that also fits in with... You're not going as fast as you're going in that game. You're going much slower. You're in a... Like, unless you're in the sedan, but... It's like, the game's called Tricky Truck, it's sort of mainly based around the truck. And so you can see me cutting holes in the bridge there to make it all broken. You have to avoid certain areas, but basically I do it so that it takes sort of a similar amount of time to beat this version in the truck. A similar amount of time doing that to playing it in Motorstorm Apocalypse and beating the level. So it sort of feels like it's the same length, even though it's much smaller, because you're going slower. And I did the same thing with the Monaco track. It was like, I looked at footage from like Gran Turismo and stuff, and it's like, oh, they're doing it in like 1 minute 30. I'll try and get it close to that. And so that worked out well. And that was fun. And so here I'm just making sort of a giant ramp that goes down. Did have a little bit of trouble getting a good place for the truck to land on it, while still requiring skill to land it, and still being fun, because I feel like Tricky Truck is very good for making levels that have like big set pieces like they do in like action games, big cinematic games, but the difference is all of those are there. They're not scripted objects, they're actual physical objects in the world that you have made. And so that if you want to make a big collapsing city or something, you have to get out of it, most of the time it'll work best when you make it so that you actually have to get out of it. You have to be a really good driver. You have to be good at the controls. You have to be good at maneuvering in midair and stuff like that. You have to do cool things in order to feel cool, unlike the action games where you just see cool things and feel cool. I like the way that you can make it so that you have to be everything you want to be. You know, like you can see a cool thing like, oh, it's this giant clockwork machine. No, you can operate it, you can interact with it by doing certain things, and I like that. Yeah, I like that about it. That's sort of what I was going for in that Tricky Truck level, Rooftop Course 1, where it was like a bunch of swings, and I just sort of did more of that, and then I learned in the second one, learned how to use the subtract tool. So I messed with that a bit, making a giant lift swing thing. That was fun. Yeah. What else? Sorry if there's any dead air, just this is all... I don't have anything written down, I'm just remembering all this stuff. I will be... well, you're probably already hearing it, but I'll be putting music in here. I'll probably be putting my own music, not because of... Not because I think highly of it, I don't really... I think I have a long way to go. But I'm not going to copyright myself. Like I can do what I want with my own music, so I'll just... that'll be there. Hopefully it's not too terrible. Just need something to fill the silence behind my voice. I couldn't really record audio because I was listening to music while I was making this, because if I don't, I'll go insane with boredom. So yeah, it's just probably be my stuff and then my voice. So, yeah. Also, what else? I've been getting into the new game from Archie, Goofball Goals. I've made a few levels on that. They're almost only half each channel, but I'll probably start putting them on this channel because this is the same engine as Tricky Trucks and almost everything except the soccer thing. And basically in Goofball Goals I've made a few levels that exploit the physics in it. Like there's one where a giant gear rolls down and both teams have to try and run to the end where there is a seesaw, and whoever puts the most weight on it first knocks the ball into the goal and wins. But the thing is, the giant gear is breaking all the level behind them, and I thought that would be fun. It's sort of inspired by that scene in Uncharted 2 where you're running across the bridge and the bridge is like collapsing behind you. But feeding into that, like, you have to do everything. Like, it's still like, if it's breaking, some of them are going to get caught in it. And I like that because it's the very real danger. It's not a like, look, the camera's panning over there. Something blew up and a building is now blocking your way, but it was conveniently too far away to damage you or do anything. And it's always that. But this one, if I make that, they can get caught in it. Try and run away as fast as you can. Waddle away with these little men that fall down. And yeah, and then the other one I had was this one where I wanted to have it so it was like a meditation room, or it looked like a meditation room, and then it just starts suddenly moving and it's like they're being thrown around in a truck or something. I thought that'd be funny, but I couldn't really do all that, so I just had they were just in a room, and the room was a cart, and the cart had to roll down a hill, and it was still pretty funny, and I managed to make it a bit more challenging than the seesaw one, with the breaking with the gear one, because in that one it was very hard to get the AI to run straight to their side of the seesaw. I put 2 balls behind it, because I thought maybe they'll go for those instead of the one in the middle, because they're closer to that, but then they still started going towards the middle, and obviously that doesn't work for the weight, because the closer they are to the middle, the less effect they will have on the seesaw. So it would kind of mean the player would win every time, unless the player would just stand still and by some miracle they would end up going to the other end. But with the cart one, what I did was I put the AI guys closer to the exit of the cart, so that when it stopped moving, the player has to move more. Yeah, the player has to move more than the AI, so it makes it more of a fair challenge. So the AI can viably win if you're trying your best. So that was fun. And I've also got one that I haven't... well, the video will probably be up soon after this one, but I've got one where I made a new level for it, where it was a giant physics gauntlet. Well, not giant, but I haven't done it before, so I didn't make it huge. But it's basically a bunch of, like, a start to finish level. It's, you control one guy, and you have to try and get him to the end of the level with the ball. And there are a lot of contraptions there to try and aid you and hinder you in that challenge. And I thought that was fun to make, but there's still a few issues with the editor. Like sometimes if they're near a lot of small walls and stuff, they can get caught trying to get up, and they won't get up for a very long time because they'll be stuck in the loop of that animation. So it's kind of challenging to work around that, but it's also, you know, some of the best. Like but it's good to have challenges when making something, because if everything's just there to you, then there's nothing to it. It's like all movies nowadays. They can make all the CGI they want. It doesn't matter how shitty it is, because they don't seem to care anymore. But there's no challenge in it, because they just, oh, we'll put that in later. We'll just do that later. It's fine. We can put anything in. But like when you have movies with practical effects, it's a very big challenge to try and make it work, because you have limitations. Like you have to be there. You have to make sure like if someone gets shot, you have to make sure the blood squib works properly. If you want to take a certain shot, you have to make sure that everything's made in the way that works for the footage. And it can be very hard to do that. And like sometimes you get like, yeah, sometimes there are things that are not good with the editor, but other times it's, if I can make that work another way, it's very rewarding, because I managed to figure out, like it's a puzzle, like it's a trial and error puzzle. I have to try and figure out which way I can do this so it will work properly and not break the level. And when I do get it to work, it's very rewarding, and I enjoy doing that. So basically I've got, at this point in the level, there's a big jump downwards, and you have to try and control the truck. I eventually do remove the cargo entirely, because it's a bit difficult to keep all of it during that, and it also weighs the truck down and makes it harder to control during that sequence. And yeah, so this second part with down on the ground, it's sort of based on the third and fourth variants of the track Good Herb from Motorstorm Apocalypse, where you're sort of going around the bridge. In the game, in those versions of the track in the game, the bridge is like broken. But I sort of wanted to have both. I wanted to have you on the bridge and around the bridge and under the bridge. So I've got that there. I had the block breaking checkpoints, because I don't want to have to limit. I don't want to have to physically limit where you can go on the track. I just want to make it so you have to go, like you have to follow it because of this, but I don't want to make it look limiting. I'd rather just use the blocks. See, sort of like Trackmania, where you have to go through each checkpoint. You can't just go straight to the end. You have to go in the order they want you to go. And I much prefer that to games or like levels where it has to lock you in, or it has to, like, everything has to be walled, because you don't want to let them out, because they'll do some kind of shortcut or something. But like in this way, it's just, you have to go here, you have to go here. You can't just jump off the whole level and win. Yeah, so I'm just making it a little like fake mountain thing. I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it, because I wanted to show the footage on this Let's Play video, because it is me, you know, even though I am editing a level, it's still, that's part of the game. I am playing the game. So, yes. Yeah, sorry, I don't do this very often. I probably should be doing it more often to get better at it, but like, you can see, like, the last video I made, the last Let's Play video I made where I was talking extensively was like 9 or 10 months ago. Or something like that. A long time ago was the last one of these. And it was me playing the game and having trouble with fraps and everything. But yeah, if I made this too detailed, then the video would be much longer, and it's a bit difficult to cut it down any more than it already is without starting to chop parts of it, and then that makes it very hard to do improvised or live commentary on that. Like, even now I have to, my computer that I'm doing this on is not great. I mean, it was a 2011, but I have to watch this in Sony Vegas while recording and watch it in preview mode, so instead of best mode, so I'm seeing a very low res version of the video. But like, it's still, like, I can still tell what's going on, but like, I can't read the text, I can't read the HUD. Like, I know that I took about 2 minutes when I did the main version of the map, but it's because I just remember that. But yeah, it's like, there are some things I'm not able to do. Like, I don't think a live commentary of me editing this would be very good, because this video was like 2 hours long before I squished it down. So I don't think my computer could handle a 2-hour video, and I think like 20-25 minutes is much easier to digest than that. So yeah, I hope what I'm talking about is interesting enough to spend 20 minutes watching it though. Although I have seen some people do worse. Because I wanted to do these Let's Play videos because at least I feel like I am competent with this game. I can play it. I have driving technique, I have elements of things that people who are good at this game have. So it might be more interesting to watch someone that sort of knows what they're doing, where I'm trying not to sound like smug or insulting about it. But some of the Let's Plays I've seen of this are just awful. Like a lot of Let's Plays, like from people that just don't know what they're doing. Like, a lot of them just seem like these people don't know how to play this game at all, and they're just like, the truck fell. That's so stupid. Why did it fall off? I crashed it, but why did it fall off? Like, I don't know. I felt like I wanted to contribute something. Like, I feel like these videos are a bit more informative. Like, I feel like I'm telling you something. Like, I'm describing the things that are happening and what I do. And I feel like I wanted to do that because I feel like that's worth doing. Because I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to sort of be entertaining, but I want the content to be real content. I want to tell you something you don't know. I don't want to just try and make you laugh with shitty lowest common denominator jokes like, your mom doing your mom. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to entertain in in a way that you can feel like you got something out of it. Like, you saw something that you didn't see before. You don't, like, I don't want to go look at, I don't want to make something that could be compared to if someone goes and looks up Let's Plays of Happy Wheels and sees like Tobuscus or something, and he goes like, haha, don't throw him off the bike, haha. Like, I don't want to, because you can't say the things I say in those videos are clever. They're made for 12-year-olds who don't know what comedy is. It's gross, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, nearly finished the level. You get to see me upload it in this video. It's just me trying to do final tests on it, make sure it's still playable. Make sure I haven't ruined something in it. I might slow that. I might slow the upload part down because it might, I don't know, it might come through too fast and you might not be able to read it. But, I don't know, it's like proof of I made this, I guess. Still running by the name Turds976. I don't know, I'm just used to that name. I'm playing Tricky Truck on the laptop. And I don't know, I originally thought that name was funny because it was so obnoxious, and that, like, a 6-year-old would come up with that, and it just made me laugh thinking about, like, what if I got high scores and that name was like at near the top of high score lists for fastest times, and the name was Turds976. That's so stupid. But yeah, it's sort of gotten used to it now. So if you, yeah. So this level will be up when this video is up, so you can play it if you want. and if you tell me what you think of it, I guess, if you want, if you played it and had some thoughts on it, or even just, it'd probably be better if you just went to a video. Just look up Motorstorm Apocalypse Good Herb Bridge to Nowhere, and you'll find that track, and you can compare, like, you can see what I'm basing this off. And yeah, I've run out of video. Whoa, that was a fast 25 minutes. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I haven't messed up all this technical stuff. And I guess I will be putting up a video of that physics gauntlet thing, Goofball Gold, probably on this channel, so just look out for that, I guess. Thanks for watching.